Where's my award?
Has anyone ever called you Jimmy Jim Jim?
And then Lewis Hamilton turned up.
Oh, well, because it's cool to say that.
This isn't that interesting. That's cool.
This is the red carpet treatment brought to you by the BRIT Awards with MasterCard. What's that smell? Well, it's the smell of chart success. Today, my guest knows how to make a smash hit track. It's James Arthur.
There's a lot of people in here, not one of them clap.
It's not always clapping, is it?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes it's awkward silence.
I heard when you were coming on the podcast, I had to do some research. And the first thing I did was type in James Arthur BRITs.
Yeah.
Right? And the first thing that came up was a headline. I'm a bit troubled by this because this is, of course, the BRITs podcast.
Yeah.
The headline was...
You're a company man.
I'm a company man.
Got you.
James Arthur wants to cause havoc at the BRITs.
Can you give any more context around that, or is that it?
Yeah, someone said it.
Oh, did it? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, so it must be true.
Yeah, it was, I guess, undisclosed source. My follow-up questions are invalid because you don't even want to cause havoc.
No, I mean, maybe I do. I don't know. I always thought, like, if I ever had won an award, because it's about time that they gave me one, I'd be like, about time, and like
About
just
time.
drop the mic.
James, you are an X Factor OG.
Yeah.
How does that feel now? It's like 11 years ago. It's long. Is that a long
The whole
time?
the whole thing's bizarre to me. Yeah, because I still grapple with the idea that that's the way that people know me. You know, because I was doing my thing a long time before that. I was 23. My electricity went out in this bedsit, and I had no lights on. I'd been sitting in the dark for a few days. Like I called my mum. She was always the last resort because I was too proud to ask my parents for for money or whatever. And I said, like, can you borrow us a tenner? And she was like, I will, but you've got to go and audition for the X Factor, because they were doing this mobile audition thing where they were going around all the
Yeah, I remember.
like, places you wouldn't normally visit, I suppose. And so I went down, I did an audition, and then they kind of like fast tracked me to the TV bit. It happened really quickly. And because I was someone who was a bit like anti-establishment and like wanted to be Kurt Cobain, or wanted to be the frontman of a rock band and being like known as the X Factor winner, I wanted to do everything I could to sort of shake that tag in a way, because I wasn't expecting this. Fame wasn't something I really ever wanted. I still don't really court, publicity and press and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's not the one.
It's not for me.
There is a difference, though, between fame and success. My mum always said that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot for a sensitive soul, do you know what I mean?
And I am that.
Your song, Impossible, is the biggest selling X Factor winning song.
It is,
That's
yeah.
pretty remarkable.
It's pretty cool, yeah. I think it was like the only one to like do stuff outside of the UK. Yeah, where's my BRIT Award?
This brings me on to my next point. Your fans. You say that Impossible did numbers outside of the UK.
Yeah.
You do have an incredible fan base that has stuck by you through thick and thin.
Yeah.
Through your perpetual love affair with social media, which goes off and on and up and down. And sometimes
it does.
Sometimes you're there, sometimes you're not. Sometimes it's James Arthur's team.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's you.
When I was like going through my self-destructive thing after the X Factor, trying to figure all that out,
You said some dumb shit.
I said some really dumb shit, but it was almost by my own design, really. I just like was trying to things up, really. It was like, I didn't even, but it wasn't just my online persona. In my life, I was fully like imploding and not talking to my friends or my family. I was just, I don't know why. I think it's probably because like I'd built this moment up for a long time, and then it's, everyone talks about how like, when you get to the top of the mountain,
Nothing there.
There's out there, yeah.
Just some goats.
And just a few goats just kicking about, and I found that pretty lonely. But obviously I learned that was, was really an irresponsible thing to do. And so I ruined my whole life by doing that.
Did you think, is that what it felt like?
Well,
Was
yeah,
it all
I
stemmed from that?
Yeah, I lost my record deal. I think Simon Cowell was like, this guy's not for us.
I mean...
it doesn't matter about the multi-platinum single, Impossible. We got to get rid of him. He's a menace to society.
Even though your mistakes on social media and some of the decisions were flawed, you do have this fan base. Do you feel like this fan base has like doubled down on you because of that?
Yeah.
Or because you pushed through it?
I've definitely sensed, I think, that I have to work a bit harder, to get that. Like,
But James, you're the 75th biggest artist on Spotify in the world.
Obviously that is unreal, and that's spread around the world. Yeah, it's wild, and it is because of these fans that are campaigning for me and like really support me. But yeah, with the UK, I think there's just like, it's a weird relationship, because outside of the UK, they don't know about my past or like X Factor.
Yeah,
or
different
anything like
context.
that. It's just I'm seen as the
Pure
artist,
voice.
the voice or whatever, the songwriter. And so it's weird, like, because there's only a couple of British artists that are higher than me on that list, but I don't really get the same.
You don't feel it in the UK.
I don't feel the love as much, and that's okay. That's fine. You know, I don't. You know, I've got plenty of great things in my life, but I think if talking about the fans, they feel like, oh, why don't you give him his flowers? I suppose.
Yeah. And then with the record labels, you were dropped because of the silliness when you were younger.
Yeah.
Then you signed to Columbia.
I did, and then Psycho signed me back as well. In the
Why?
UK.
Why did they take you back?
Well, just because the numbers were just too good.
Because you're too powerful.
Yeah, man. It's just
That's
like,
crazy.
It's like, this guy's he's gonna.
You transcended idiocy.
Yeah, man. Like I did. I trumped all controversy with numbers.
With numbers.
When are you going to give me one of these? By the way?
Never. How many times have you been nominated?
Twice.
Well, why do you keep saying that you're going to cause havoc? Then they might give you an award.
Well, the thing is like feel like it's gone past that point now. Sort of just a bit daft, isn't it?
You've been nominated 3 times.
Oh, have I? Oh, the videos don't count, do they?
All right, so chart success. So you've had 2 #1 singles, 4 top 10 albums, 4.
Top 5 albums, let's call it that.
120 weeks in the top 40. That is over 2 years. You've spent over 2 years in the top 40.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Right, so what's your favourite track that you've released? That what just comes to mind, bang.
That I've released. Probably one that didn't do very well, like...
Oh, because it's cool to say that.
Yeah, man. Probably a song called At My Weakest. There's a song
Okay.
called At My Weakest, yeah.
That sounds like is that happy, that one?
Nah,
Oh, no. At My Weakest.
Sad as it gets, yeah.
Yeah. You were recently given the BRIT Billion Award.
Yeah, they had to give me that one.
Billion?
Yeah.
Well, how many streams you had total?
I think it's like 14 billion across the whole catalogue, yeah.
Do you know how much a billion is? That's ridiculous.
I know. It's
And you did that 14 times.
14. Yeah,
That's
not in the
rude.
UK, but in the UK, I think it's I don't know, it might be a couple of billion.
I mean, listen, does that mean a lot to you, genuinely?
It does, yeah, of course it does, yeah.
Have you got any all-time favourite Brit performances? One that you could, you wish you'd been part of?
Well, I don't know whether I would have added anything to it, but the Dave performance, the one there.
Oof, the one a couple of years ago.
The one, yeah.
The piano.
Black, yeah. That's iconic. Where's my Brit Award, though?
The last time you went to the Brits was 2017. What are your memories of that night?
I was sat there seething because Little Mix won. No, joke.
I swear to God, you're not allowed to go for my girlfriend, bro.
Second, do I go there?
So I draw the line, Jimothy.
How did you give it to Little Mix? I had the biggest selling song of the year.
Wait, what did they win?
It was single of the year or something.
I can show you the one that Jay's got if you want. I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, please. Yeah, do that. Yeah, do that. Yeah, they weren't going to give it to me. I can't dance.
The after party's fantastic. You danced with anyone at an after party?
Nicole Scherzinger I danced with at a Brits after party, yeah.
What's she like?
She's really chilled out, actually. She's a very emotionally intelligent person. Yeah, she's been really supportive of me. I guess, when you go on these things, you would think, like, these judges, they have a bond and then they go off and don't really keep in touch with some of the contestants that they work with. But Nicole has, like, kept the same energy for the last 10 years with me. So.
Nicole Scherzinger went to your local pub in Redcar.
So on X Factor, they do, like, a homecoming thing. And
Oh, of course.
And the pub that I would, like, perform in pretty regularly, that's where the whole thing was, and she came into it. And
Were they buzzing?
I don't know, this isn't that interesting, I'll be honest.
Well, I'm interested. What are you talking about?
There's no funny anecdote or anything with that story. She just make up a story.
I heard that Nicole Scherzinger went to the pub in Redcar,
Yeah.
they did a selfie, took a picture, she signed it, she
Yeah.
finished the dregs of your Guinness and blackcurrant and did the worm to a chippy.
And then Lewis Hamilton turned up.
And that's how they met?
In his full F1 gear, and that's how
With
they
a
met.
rose, a single rose.
with a rose, and that's how they met. And I am now credited with
With putting them together.
putting them together. So glad you brought that up, actually. I place a lot of importance on the Brits. I love the Brits. I grew up watching it. It's important to me. So that's it.
Listen, licking her ass ain't gonna work either.
Yeah, I didn't think so, yeah.
You're knackered because you're a dad now.
Yeah.
And how old is your daughter?
She's 8 months old.
Kids though, what are you saying? Good?
Yeah, it's life. The first 6 months we had a sleep nanny. So she was sleeping from like 7 till 7, which is a dream. Obviously you have a...
Wait, then the sleep nanny or the child?
Both of them were sleeping.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No, she...
I genuinely got lost
Yeah,
there.
actually, we sacked her because all she did was sleep on the job.
It's just a nanny.
You imagine, yeah. We employed a woman to sleep whilst our child was just awake throughout the night.
Sorry, that's proper.
That's funny.
You written a song about your daughter yet?
I've written a couple, yeah. I wrote one called Emily, which is her name.
Right.
I wrote that before she was born. I wrote it's like a letter to her in the future.
Wait, so had you decided on a name yet?
I had that name.
Because that's a smart move if you wanted to push the name.
Yeah, I did.
You're like, babe, I've already written a song.
It just felt like a bit of a poetic kind of name, and it works with my surname.
So you picked Emily because you like singing it?
Yeah.
What a singer-songwritery thing to do.
Very, very singer-songwritery, yeah. Where's my Brit? I'm taking this, actually.
You have been outspoken about mental health. We've actually collaborated before on a mental health project.
The thing with mental health for me is I just had a really bad time. I just went through some rough stuff. I think from a young age, being like an ADHD kid, I always felt a bit weird and a bit out of place and didn't fit in and things like that.
Yeah.
And anxiety was something I guess I could always escape from in my old life, having all these expectations and people kind of, and pressure and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And so when I got on the X Factor, I started to experience full-blown panic attacks where I was convinced I was dying. But, ultimately that led to me just getting to a point of live or die sort of situation.
Yeah.
And I chose to live, I chose to fight and find a way. And talking about it really, ultimately is the most important thing to do. And as someone with a platform or someone that might be able to help some people, I feel a duty to be a part of that movement and just talk about mental health as much as possible, really.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a positive thing to do.
Yeah, man.
And also, I guess especially important with young men.
When I did that documentary, the stats around men killing themselves.
Yeah, pretty wild.
It's horrible. And particularly where I'm from, a lot of it was filmed in the Northeast, people are arriving at the GPs at crisis point and give me something. But therapy is not available to people here, and which is a really important thing, I think, to have someone to talk to.
Listen, I wish you all the best with Blindside, man.
Thanks, mate.
Genuinely, with this new music,
yes,
you said.
No, I did say this, yeah.
In a video, you're aware of the idea that everyone has to go on TikTok and say that this is what they're really excited about. Is this the best music you've ever made?
Undoubtedly, yeah. It is.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah, and there's reasons why. First of all, where's my BRIT Award? No, I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah, it's been a focused kind of artistic project, as wanky as that sounds.
Right.
I've learned a lot from the last two albums, I think. My last album was a lockdown project. I was dicking around. I was just experimenting with different sounds. Some of the choices that I'd made were maybe based on what was happening culturally. And I just have really served these songs as best as possible, and I feel really proud of them.
I'm very happy you feel that way because it's hard to do that 11 years in. Look, she wants to be your friend. This is actually a big deal. She's not, especially with guys. This is Mimi coming to say you were part of the pack now. You're a gang.
Mimi, what's happening?
But listen, I'm very happy that you're making the best music of your life, and best of luck with fatherhood. Mm-hmm. Big yourself up, man. James Arthur, everybody.
Thanks, man. In all seriousness, though, where's my BRIT Award?
Coming up next week on the red carpet treatment is Mimi Webb.
I just embarrassed myself.
What are you saying?
I'm not prepared for this right now. I actually don't have a name.
Your name's Mimi.
Ring-a-ding-ding. I'm your girl.